Hello, this is Lex from Dead Gentry Collectibles, and today we are doing our Guess the Values game where I show you 3 pieces, get a nice good look, check out the base, and you try to appraise them, evaluate them in your mind. Guess a worth of each one, and then when we're done with that round, I will give you a little more information so you can redefine those values a little bit. And so you can see if things that you might be guessing like origin, material are correct as well before revealing the prices to you. This one has some paper information about the artist and things inside if you're wondering what that is. Hopefully you got a nice good look. Let me show you that base one more time. I don't want to cheat you of any information. Make sure you get a nice good look there. Okay. Things you should be asking yourself: when do you think these pieces were made? What material are they made out of? How big do they seem to be in reference scale to my hand, for instance? What's the quality? Show you that. Show you that base. See that pretty base? Okay. So hopefully you've got some guesses in mind for each of these 3. And now I'm going to give you just a little more information. So this first piece here, this is an Italian piece. This is hand-blown art glass. This is actually not a vase. This is a perfume bottle. One of the ways you can tell that is the form at the top here, the flat surface. It's smooth, it's been polished so that the stopper will fit inside, very smoothly go in and out. And can you make out that's a very level plane that hasn't been left kind of curved? And again, that's for that stopper. That would be the perfume stopper at the top there. My guess is it would be an amberina color to match this base and offset that there. This is what you would call a submerso layer inside of this Italian glass, where you see that kind of amber glass submerged and then these pulled colors throughout. Very pretty piece. You do have this applied ribbon applique on the outside as well. Equidistant measurements between this applique. Very nicely done, very refined. Beautiful, bright, vivid colors here. These are all things you could be thinking about. So, Italian. So, I hope maybe some of that information affects what you were thinking it might be worth. I'm gonna kind of push him away as we work. Let's do this Japanese piece. So this is Japanese drip glaze. This is a piece made by Napco Ware. Sometimes these are referred to as MCM. You'll see that search term online, or if you were listing something like this to resell, perhaps you could use that mid-century modern term for this. These are very pretty. Sometimes these are also called little weed pots from the 1950s, 1960s. This one's likely from the 1950s. Sorry about that noise there. I am outside today. So like I said, this was likely from the 1950s. That was so loud. It is hand thrown and it is pottery. So hopefully that helped inform you a little bit better. Maybe it changed your evaluation. Maybe it didn't. Set that one aside before we reveal these values here. And then we have this beautiful painted desert art pottery. This is from Navajo Nation. This is, from the American Southwest. So it's that Southwestern style, highly collectible, so very sought after. This piece is from 2003. You can see that mark on the bottom there. It is signed by the artist. It is hand painted, hand etched. These are all things to think about. And it does have a figure. So that also affects the value, along with the quality of the etching itself. It does have that beautiful shiny glaze and the matte layering to it. All things to think about. So this piece is maybe 5 inches tall, maybe 6 inches across, maybe 4.5 inches tall, maybe 5 inches across. And this is probably the tallest piece at like 6.5 inches with the art glass there. Just so you have an idea. Sorry about the light changing there. It's kind of hard. The outdoor conditions make this a little difficult today. Hopefully you've got your values in mind. Look at the light this one's throwing on the table. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, so now we're gonna reveal which do you think is the least valuable on the table. If you said out of these 3 pieces that it was the Napco Ware Japanese Bud vase, you'd be correct. This piece is worth maybe $20 on its best day. Again though, if you were to see something like this at an estate sale, a little vintage auction, perhaps a thrift store, garage sale for $1, I definitely pick that up, because at $18 to $20, that $1 is a great investment, and it's a beautiful little collectible piece. The second most valuable, if you said it was this, you are correct. This piece without its top, because it is missing, it is beautiful, but it's just not, it's missing the stopper. It's worth about, it's not very large, $30, maybe a little bit more. One of those ways, again, that you can tell those beautiful, very high quality Italian pieces. Look at that flawless polish. Absolutely flat, beautifully polished. If you're trying to see if something's Italian glass, no bubbles in here, everything looks exactly as it should. Nice bright colors, beautiful pulling throughout. Look at those blues. Just absolutely beautiful. Okay, if you guessed today that the Southwestern Navajo Nation red clay art pottery was the most valuable thing on the table today, you are correct. Pieces like this can go for, you know, $45 to $100 a piece, depending on things, again, like quality and like how many figures are on the piece. So this has one, which is better than none, but pieces like this can have multiple different figures, with each figure being different. Other things that affect the value, rarity of the artist, how vintage is the piece. This one's vintage, but there are older. The quality of the work that's been done, these are all important factors. I would say this one's worth about $45. So wonderful little collectible piece there, and I hope you guessed it as the most valuable today.